Hey everyone, welcome back to Bear's Workshop. Today we're going to be doing the actual video for the prequel video of the repairs from the accident that we had. So first things first, we're going to be taking off the front bumper that was damaged, so we're pulling that off, and then we're going to go through the rest of the vehicle and start removing parts. Taking the front bumper off is pretty easy. Putting it back on is more of a challenge, especially when you're doing it alone. So on this part of the video, we're just getting all the plastics off. We're disconnecting the dash, trying to get the bolts and everything off of the fender. We loosened up, we took off the grill, we loosened up the front piece, the front fascia or whatever it's called. And I started disconnecting other things around the vehicle. Keep watching and I'll be commenting more as we get to different steps. Okay, so we've gotten this RZR to the point where we could take this fender off. It was a lot more work than I would have thought, only because we have to lift the roll cage up in order to pull this out. Because this is an aftermarket roll cage, it's not split right here. If you have the stock cage, it's bolted right in the front and you can just disconnect it and take this out. But because this, I had to disconnect the front of the roll cage, both sides. I had to take the door off and disconnect the roll cage down at the bottom. And still there's no flex in the roll cage, so you can't really pull it up until you've disconnected everything. So we had to take the plastic off both sides and both front doors. And then going to the back, we had to disconnect it here. We had to disconnect it here. And in order to disconnect this part, I actually had to loosen it up on the bottom where this comes down and it's the rear bumper. I had to disconnect some of the roof so I could just get my tools in there to disconnect this, because this was too tight. So we had to take a lot of things apart just to get that front fender off. All right, so Riley's going to lift up the cage a little bit, and I'm going to slide this out. And there we go. The old broken fender is out. We're going to go ahead and slide the new one in real quick. Oh, one other thing I had to remove the seats, of course, because I couldn't get to the bolts in the bottom of the roll bar. That's just another thing that had to be taken out. Okay, so we got the new fender in. We're going to bolt this in a minute. We're not going to bore you with that video. But we're also going to leave the roll cage disconnected, since we still have to replace the box in the back, and we're just going to disconnect it again. So we're going to leave the cage disconnected, but we're going to get this all wrapped up. It looks good, nice and shiny. It's got no stickers on it. I didn't buy the stickers to put on the fender because I didn't really like them. I've actually taken the stickers off all the rest of them since we started this video. So when we're done, we'll be able to see everything. Everything's going to be all blacked out. It's either black or red without the stickers. So on to the rest of this. Okay, as you can see, we've gotten the front button back up. We haven't done the front bumper yet. I'm going to do that in a couple of minutes, but before I do that, I want to take care of the door. But we've got the flare back on, the new fender is on, and everything is sitting pretty good. It looks good. Everything sits tight. The dashboard's back in, and the center console's back in also, and everything looks pretty good. The only thing I haven't done yet, like I said, is the bumper. But I want to go on to the door first. We're going to do some rivets in that, and we're going to see how that goes. So come along, let's take a look. Okay, so what we're looking at here with the door, as you can see, it's laying out. We've got this rivet popped out and the old pieces are still there. Then on the other side, we've got the same issue. That rivet popped out. It's not in there anymore, but the one on the edge right here is. So we're going to pop out the old ones with just like some small piece of metal, and we've got some rivets, and we're going to go ahead and put them in and see if we can get this all lined up and then make it look good again. Probably got to bend this back. It's got bent up a little bit also. Might hit that with a rubber mallet a couple of times. Let's go ahead and get the camera set back up, and we're going to get this fixed. I'm going to lightly tap this out. I don't want to really damage anything. I use too big of a hammer. I'm just going to try and get that out without breaking anything else. Okay, that one's out. Let's turn this around and see what we can do on the other one. This one I think is going to be a little bit easier. Maybe not. Got nothing to lean on. Yep, that one was easier. Okay, we're going to start on the side with one first. We're going to try and find a rivet that matches the size that we need. These are all kind of big, but we're going to go with the tiniest one. See if we can get this lined up without using clamps. Yeah, we should be able to. Well, there we go. The head's a little smaller than the originals, but I don't think it's really noticeable, and I think that's it's going to work pretty well. I'm happy with that. I hope the roof is going to be this easy. There it is. We got 2 rivets in here, holding them tight. They look pretty strong. Looks good. This door, I'm just gonna hit this with a hammer, and then this door is done. It's back in shape, except for those couple scrapes. We can live with that. So at this point in the video, I'm putting the front bumper on. I'm working by myself right now, getting those bolts in. They're a little tight. They don't really want to line up as you would hope. It's not really like a Lego kit. So it's moving things back and forth, pulling the washers off pulling the hardware off, getting all the hardware in there, and trying not to drop anything. That's probably the most painful thing about this, is that you got to get your hands really far in there, and my big hands don't reach. So it's you got a magnet on a stick is your best friend, because that's the only way you can get things where you need to do. That's the only way you can get things where it needs to be. Okay, so as you can see, I just finished the riveting on the roof. It went very smoothly. I drilled out all the old rivets, except for the first one. The first one was still kind of in there, so I left that in there because that would kind of keep it together. And then once I got them all drilled out, I went back from the other side. I used the drill bit to help me line up the holes, and just went down the line and kept riveting it, and everything went smoothly. Everything is solid as can be right now. So I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. It looks like it's stock factory. So on to the next piece, which is going to be the box. Not looking forward to that. So just to go over what we're doing right here is we're going to be replacing this box. This is the same piece. This is the replacement part, and what we have is we have cracks that are right here, all along here. You can see all this piece cracked right here, all the way across. And this is not a crack. This is just part of the intake. But you know, this piece got pulled off. There might be some other cracks in there, but this is the main problem right there, because that's just going to start falling apart. Cracked right there also. So that's what we have to do here. So we're going to have to be able to pull this up and over. So we are going to have to disconnect this seat, because I know I can see from over here, the bottom there, we've got screws that are in there in the back. So we're going to have to pull out the seats, so disconnect all the seat belts, remove the seat. We're going to have to pull this bar. This door is going to have to come off. This bar will then move forward, And we're going to have to take off this air intake right here. Then we're going to have to somehow maneuver this roll bar out of the way. We have to finish taking off this plastic piece. I've already removed the engine cover. I will probably shake out that air filter while we're here. But we've got all the screws and everything that's connected all the way through here and up and then over through the back of the seat. So I don't think it's going to be that hard. It's just going to be a little bit labor intensive just to get everything out and then put everything back together. Okay, so it's the next day. I've got everything on this box disconnected, and the next step is to somehow get this roll cage up and out of the way so that I can pull this out. I've got the bar here and the bar here. This one should be fairly easy once I can get the cage up, because it can just come this way. But this piece goes down a good 10 inches, 12 inches, so I have to somehow wrangle that through. So in order to do this, the best thing I could think of was to use my lift. And let me show you what I'm going to do here. I've got the lift set up right next to it, and I'm going to take these arms, I'm going to put them in here and in here, and we're going to go ahead and raise this up. If I can get this raised up about 6 inches, I think that'll be enough to pull the whole box out. I hope. Not 100% sure, but I'm going to do my best. I've still got a couple things connected. I got a wire here, a wire for the front light that's still connected. Otherwise, nothing else is really connected. Seatbelts are, but they've got they've got a good 6 inches before it's going to get tight. So I'm hoping I can raise it up enough just to get this box out, and then I can slide the other one in. So let's see how that goes. Now, one of my concerns is balancing. When you're lifting up a vehicle, you have a book, which I have right here, that tells you where to put your arms on your lift. I don't have anything like that, so I'm hoping that this isn't out of balance. It'll be easy to tell. If it falls over, got a problem. Let's hope that we don't have a problem. For the record, I think this is kind of a stupid idea, and I hope nothing bad happens, but if it does, I told you so. Well, that was so damn easy, I didn't even get the camera back on. Put the other one back in. It's in place. I'm on a limited time schedule today, so I'm probably going to stop it right here. Get everything bolted back up, and probably tomorrow, and see if we could get this all wrapped up. But that was a lot easier than I thought, only because of the lift. I don't know what I'd be doing without it. 5, 6 guys lifting it up, holding it while trying to pull it out. Be kind of a pain in the butt, holding it steady. But lift worked out great. We're going to leave this as is, bolt everything up later. I'm going to see you in a minute. Everything will be bolted back up. Okay, so here we are. All the work is done. We've replaced the front fender, the front bumper, the half of the rear box, and a couple other small stuff. But everything's done. It was fairly easy work. The hardest part was actually figuring out how to get the cage off. So you got to keep in mind, if you want to replace your front fender, you're going to have to lift your cage off. There's really no other way to do it. If you have a stock frame, you're going to be able to disconnect it before you have to before you have to lift off the back. But if you've got an aftermarket cage, just to get the front fender off, you're gonna have to pull the whole cage up. I was lucky because I had a lift, so I was able to lift it up with that. The box in the back, same thing. Would not have been able to take that out without lifting the cage out. But we got the cage out. So in order to do the front fender and the rear box, we had to remove the front bumper, the front grille, the front fender, the front flare. We had to remove the cage, both front seats. We had to disconnect the back seats. We had to take off all four doors on all sides. We had to take off the elbow that goes from the back door to the cage. We had to remove the, that was probably it for the front fender, but those are all the things that had to be removed, quite a bit. Oh, and the side plastics that go between the two doors, like the B-pillar, those plastics had to come off. So quite a few things had to come off in order to get to that front fender. But we did it. It's all done. You can see we've got the new front bumper on here. We're going to go ahead and roll this out and give it a little wash down, and that's pretty much it. Everything's back rolling. I wasn't able to get the rocker panel back on because I need some hardware. So I've ordered that. That'll be in a few days. There's nothing exciting about that. So I'm going to get that on, and it's pretty much back into shape. Next video is going to be replacing the front headlights. We're going to be replacing them with some nice LED lights. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button. Comment if you've got a comment. Subscribe if you want to help me out. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching.